Welcome back, guys. I'm back with another video. Ayo Ronnie here, and today I woke up, I said, Ayo Ronnie, you can do better. You can help some people out. In case you guys did not know, Nintendo Switch just recently dropped an update that will allow us to add folders to our Nintendo Switch. Now, that's cool, but I was actually checking it out online, and one of the main questions is, how exactly can I categorize my video game collection? And there's not a lot of answers. There's a lot of people trying to sell you things, but there's not a lot of answers. So I just want to make a quick video of 6 unique ideas that you could use. And obviously there's way more than 6. There's probably like 100. If you guys want to keep the conversation going in the comments, I definitely appreciate that. And if you want to see me make a part 2 where I cover even more categories, strike a pose on that like button. Let go. If you're using your Nintendo Switch, you want to go to System Settings very first. Go to System Update, Systems Up to Date. Make sure your system's up to date first or you're not gonna see anything. At that point, you're gonna click on All Software and wabop shabam, top right group should appear. At that point, you're gonna click L, create new group. They're gonna show you how to do that real quick, and then boom. At that point, it's all about picking up some titles. Once you've selected the games that you want, simply press next, and it's gonna take you to a screen where you pick a name. If you'd like to add more groups, simply click on the plus button and continue about your merry way. The first group we're gonna cover today is release date. Now, there's some pros and cons of every group you pick. Major pros for this group is the fact that it's for the more of the nostalgic gamer that likes to kind of see how their collection has grown and some of the games they've collected over the years. This one I kind of highly recommend, and I actually like this one. That way, if I want to play something that just came out this year, or if there's certain games, eventually you'll get to memorize what games came out what year, obviously. But if I'm looking for something new that I want to play right now, all my 2022 games are right there in one category. The cons of this is the fact that it's not really as grouped or as organized as it possibly could be. Now, there's subgroups you can make in that group, like you can alphabetize things to make it a little bit easier to find things. But I would rate this one, to me, I would give this one like a solid 8 out of 10. Real quick, one category that I'm actually not going to cover, but I'm actually going to talk about it, which means I'm kind of covering it, is by developer. Now, if you click the R button, you'll get a couple options here: by title, by publisher. If you click on the by publisher, you actually get this unique little floater thing over every game that tells you who made which game. So 505, I have 2 games that are made by 505. I have a few Capcom games here. I don't want to, I'm not going to make these categories, but if you want to take it upon yourself, if this is something you're into, all you got to do, hit groups, create groups, and then bam, well, all the titles went away. That's going to take a little bit more work than I thought, which is why that's not going to be in this video. Next, the next category I want to talk about is characters and franchises, for lack of a better term. It'll be more of, for your Kirby's, you got all your Kirby games in one folder. Pokemon, got all your Pokemon games. For me, I'm a big Square Enix fan, so I have my Square Enix games right here, and then all my Just Dance games right here. Now, there are a lot of pros to this, but that also kind of depends on how many games you actually play. So there's a lot of pros if you have a slim collection and it's just easy for you to keep everything nice and organized, but there's a lot of cons if you have a lot of very different games. Like, where would a game like Happy Game go? Because then you would have to create pretty much an other category to put everything else, like games like Ninjala, Super Animal Royale. They don't have big franchises or constant rollouts or different editions, so that's where things get a little bit fuzzy with this one. I would give this one like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, but that all depends on preference. If you don't mind having an other category that has tons of things in it, then this might be a good pick for you. Before we go too much further, I want to take a second and get to the organizing. Remember, you can always hit X to delete if you're on the Nintendo Switch, if you're using this for that. And then if you ever want to edit a group, boom, all you do is click on a group, click R, you can edit, add, remove, sort software, rename group, all sorts of things like that in that screen. Our next category is going to be a personal favorite of mine. For those who just can't really seem to figure out what categories they like, this one works pretty well. I have cartridge, digital, demo, apps, other. All your cartridge games, there's nothing more annoying than clicking on a game and you get that pop-up that tells you that you need to insert a disc. I hate that so much. So that one, it puts all your cartridges there, all the games you don't have to worry about, all the ones that are on your system, all your digitals are in one folder, all your demos that you play, keep that in one folder, all your apps are in one folder, and then all your others. Others to me could be a combination. You can always combine apps and others if you want. Others would be something like Pokemon Home. That's not really a game, it's not really a digital download, it's not really a cartridge, it's not a demo. And then I have the Super Nintendo add-on as well. It's not really anything, so I put things like that in the other category. To me, starting off, this is definitely a 10 out of 10. If you're not somebody who's hyper organized, this is definitely a good one to start off with. Our next one's kind of like a joke, but I saw somebody mention this online. I thought it was cute. We have shooters and non-shooters. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to these categories. If you are using this system, let me know in the comments which one of these folders has more games in it if you're doing straight shooters and non-shooters. Also, remember you can always just add your own apps and others category because every system's gonna have apps and others. So I didn't show it too much so far through the video, but every group you make is pretty much going to need an apps and others. You don't have to, but if you want to get 100% of all your games in there, then you're definitely gonna want an apps and others folder. Next. So this next category I'm sure is gonna be super popular amongst some people. You have your multiplayer games, obviously your games you can play online or with friends in person. And then there's your single player games you just do on your chill nights, play a little solo dolo matches, things of that nature. And then there's a folder that I thought of for indie games. Now, indie games typically are kind of like your more one-off experiences. When I think of like a single player, I'm probably thinking of like, you know, your Marios, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Metroid Dread, kind of your bigger, more AAA titles. And indie is kind of those games that maybe might not have the highest replay value for you, or something that's just, you know, kind of a one-off experience. So obviously, again, you can add your others and apps category to this and kind of tweak a little bit as you see fit. But for now, that's good to go. Our final category for today brings me to probably a trickier one, but one that I really actually kind of like this one. It has 5 categories, minus a couple that you want to add yourself. We have games that I have beat. Boom, those are games I've beat, done, but they're still mine. I have them. Games that I have not beat would be the second category, which would be games that I've started, kind of walked away from, maybe thinking about coming back to and beating one day. You know, those games that kind of tired you out in the middle of trying to finish them, and you're like, I'll come back and beat this one day. Then, of course, we have demos for games that are demos. And then we have DLC. That's the category I made that I kind of like. DLC would be a game that maybe you've beaten already, but they just released a new update or some new kind of DLC for it. So you might be interested in going back and checking out the DLC that maybe you paid for on a pre-order or things like that. That's your DLC category, a game that you've probably beat, but has now been updated to have more things to do in the post game or whatever. And then lastly is your haven't played category. Now, clearly it's gonna be games that you haven't played. Games that you haven't played, you still might wanna check out. And if you have any other games that kind of fall out of these categories, then maybe you should just kind of think about deleting some things, because I feel like this one pretty much encompasses all the gaming types that you can have. If there's something you can think of that I missed, let me know. But that's all I got for now. That's 6 unique categories for organizing your games, no matter what system you use. This is definitely made for the Nintendo Switch, but it can be applied for Xbox, it can be applied for PlayStation. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll be reading and responding. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to strike pose on that like button. Subscribe today to join the AYOFAM. Love you guys. See you guys in the next one. Bye!